Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Literally What. I am so excited that you are here. It is a Wednesday, and we are doing a double episode week this week because I did not post last week because I was in New York City for my 1-year anniversary, and we're going to recap all of that. I want to tell you guys all about my trip, but I didn't want to go on like a weird schedule, so I'm going to be posting today, talk about everything, all of the fun stories, and then since there were so many stories and things I wanted to talk about, we're going to have our second episode this upcoming Saturday, so definitely be on the lookout for that and enjoy the double week episode. Today is kind of like a vibe, but also partially because literally like half of my lights are out, and also like my cat, as you've seen in previous episodes, loves to destroy the streamers on my background. So for 2025, we are getting a background revamp-ish, and it's going to look so much better than it does right now. But with the holidays coming up and the new year, I just have so much going on that I'm just like not worrying about it right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, just like embrace the background and enjoy it for now, because we'll look back on this day and this background and just really appreciate it and appreciate, you know, all it's done for us. But I mean, I feel like every episode, it just gets like more and more destroyed. But anyways, we have so much to get into today. I'm so excited to be back in this chair chatting with you guys. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into some hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Okay guys, yes, I am finally back from my New York City trip. It was everything and more. New York City is one of my, if not my favorite places to just go and visit. I have been going there ever since I was really young, and especially during the Christmas time with all the lights. It is the most magical place, and I just like that when you get there and you settle in, everything is so accessible. We would either walk or just take the subway everywhere, and we could go everywhere we wanted to, so many places. And you know, we would walk down the street from our hotel and find like super cool places to go into, and there's just like so much to do, and it just makes for like one of the most fun trips. We don't have to worry about a car, we don't have to worry about driving super far or trying to find cool places to go to, because literally every single place we went, a lot of the places I had planned out already, just because I'm super type A and wanted like a very detailed itinerary. But I knew in the back of my head New York City is so crazy and not everything was going to go to plan. And of course it didn't, but it worked out way better. And we found some of the coolest places ever. We did not have one bad experience anywhere. Every single restaurant, every single place we went to go visit and sightsee, every single bar, every single anything we went to was literally amazing. I could do a whole podcast episode just on every single place we went, because I cannot recommend everywhere we went enough. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I can make that like a bonus episode, because I literally have so much to say about New York City and like all the places we went, because it was so much fun. But we flew in, and my husband, who knows I have anxiety, he still decided to tell the airline that we were flying to New York City for our 1-year anniversary. And so they announced us as we were literally getting up to go onto the plane. They announced it in the airport, upgraded our seats. We got on the plane, and then about halfway through, we had one of the flight attendants come up and bring us champagne, this really, really sweet letter from United telling us, you know, congratulations, and all of the employees signed the letter, and then like a charcuterie board, and it was like so amazing. And if you know me, like I am very scared of plane rides, but both the plane ride there and back were the smoothest rides I've ever been on an airplane. I was not nervous once. There was no turbulence. And it was like genuinely the best flights I've ever had. I don't know like how that happened, but I was so happy. And then when we were getting ready to land, the pilot got on, maybe it was the pilot, probably a flight attendant, but they were like, just so you know, like telling us that, you know, there's Taylor and Chandler, like 1-year anniversary, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, like it was so sweet, because I love just when humans are just like being nice humans. And I feel like we don't see a lot of that. And I feel like in the world, we just tend to see a lot of bad people in the world and bad things. And so even though it like is happening to me, not someone else, it's still nice to see like there's people out there who are really nice and who genuinely want to make you have a better experience and feel good about yourself. So I sent in a full like thing to United. You can do like a compliment, and I complimented the whole entire staff, and it was just it set up the trip to be so amazing, especially with the flight just being like such a smooth flight. And I'm a Delta girly, but United, like, I think I would definitely be flying them again, just because it was literally like the best experience I've ever had on a plane ride. So we got to New York City, we got to our hotel, and it was so gorgeous. Outside it had like these two little lion heads, and then you walk in, and to the left it had this whole like library looking thing. It was a library, okay? Like literally it was just like bookshelves with books. And then I had a really big Christmas tree. Reese just decorated really, really beautifully for Christmas. And then we were out on the town. We were go that first day, and then there was one day where it was really rainy, and it was obviously pretty cold. So that day we pretty much just like chilled out in the hotel for a little bit, and then went out a little bit later. But every single day was just so much fun. We were doing so many things, and we walked so much that I had blisters in between my toe. If you ever experienced a blister, this was like times a million, because it was in the middle of my like big toe and is it your pointer toe? I don't know. And so it was uncomfortable every single time I stepped, every single time I moved my toe. It was unbearable. But that's the price you pay for walking around New York City. And then we literally only took the subway besides walking. And I think we rode the subway like 20 times, and we didn't miss one stop. We didn't really have any weird encounters, except this one girl was like literally drinking a thing of alcohol out of like a plastic bag or whatever. And like she was just like ranting about something. But other than that, like no weird instances. And I felt like literally just a pro on the subway, and like I could do this. Like I could commute on a subway, because like it was so easy and so fun, and we did it so many times, and we were just like so used to it. Like we genuinely, like, I think everyone thought that we were New Yorkers, because we had 2 separate times where someone would come up to us and we were like on the subway like platform and like ask us directions for somewhere. And then we found this cute little dive bar right by our hotel, and where we were staying was like Upper Manhattan, kind of near Central Park. So a lot of people that went to this dive bar were just kind of like natives. Is that how you say it? I don't know, but they all lived in New York, and just assumed we lived there, because like we just like blend in, you know what I mean? And so it was genuinely like so much fun. We didn't go anywhere really touristy, I feel like, for dinner, except Din Tai Fung, which was, oh my gosh, my TikTok dream to go, and it literally exceeded my expectations. It was so good. I'm trying to think where else we went. We went to this really good Mexican restaurant that was up near our hotel that was so good. What else did we do? Oh, and then there was this really cute like pizza bagel like corner cafe thing that was open pretty much 24/7, and we went in there every single night like after 11, because they were open really late, and we would get a slice of pizza, and it was so good. And we did that every night. And now I'm like at home, and I'm like, I miss like walking like a block to get our pizza and like say hi to the people and then like go back. It was just like genuinely like the best, most wholesome experience. And of course we did all of our touristy things. We saw the Rockefeller tree, we went and saw the tree where we got engaged at, which was way more like popular. There were a lot more people there than when we were there a couple years ago, but that was cool to see. We went to the St. Cathedral church, which last time I was there we just saw the outside, but we actually went inside, and oh my gosh, just mind-blowingly beautiful. I wanted to go back there a second time. We went and saw the Belvedere Castle and all of that in Central Park. Just a lot of places that I had never really seen before, but I know like are so beautiful and I wanted to see. We went to this, oh my gosh, Frosty's Christmas bar, which is one of the most popular bars. Of course, you have to pay a cover fee to get in there, but 3 stories, insane lights. Downstairs, like a whole DJ booth. Like, it was such a fun time. We were there for, I think, maybe 4 hours, and it was like just us 2, but like there were so many people down there dancing. It was like so easy to meet people, and just the whole time I was like, I could literally see us living here in New York City, because it just like, I don't know what it is, it's so welcoming, and like we just fit in so well, and like had so much fun, and just met so many people, and it was just like easy. Obviously like we would never, because like I love this city, but I feel like after a while I'd want like a big backyard, especially because we have our cat and dog. But just like the whole time we were there, I just felt so like at peace and so comfortable, and like just the best time ever. It was so much fun. We had so much fun. We did not want to leave. except when we were traveling back, it was just like the longest travel time because it took us like 3+ hours to just get back to the airport because we took like a train and then the subway. It was a whole thing, but it was part of the experience. And actually the last day we were there, it was SantaCon, which if you don't know what that is, apparently thousands of people bar hop all around New York City. And so when we were leaving, I was like, why are these people dressed up as like the Grinch and Santa? And it was because they have this whole SantaCon thing, which was kind of cool to see. But I was like, that is a lot, and I did not know that was a thing. But yeah, just like the best trip ever. Could not have asked for anything more. So much fun. I have so many pictures and videos that I took, and I actually started vlogging our trip from the day before we left because I wanted to make like a little vlog just so that I could like remember. I used to vlog a lot in high school and then college, just like on my Snapchat or whatever, not to post, but just like as memories. And sometimes they'll pop up and I'm like, I wish I did that every single day because my memory, I have the worst memory ever. Like I won't remember something my husband like told me yesterday. I won't remember what I ate for like breakfast. Like I just like don't remember anything. And so having the memories like I think is like so special. And so I started vlogging and I kind of want to post it on like my YouTube, not my podcast, but like I have another YouTube channel, but we'll see what happens with that. But I took so many videos, actually insane. So I need to figure out what I want to do with that. So yeah, just overall like the best trip. It felt like we were living in New York, like we were New Yorkers. But yeah, that's our little New York City recap. We did so much more that I'm definitely forgetting. We were there for like 5-6 days, so I'll think about doing like a little bonus episode of just all the different places we went to and recommendations and all of that. But anyway, that is our New York City recap. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about it. I don't know. I don't really have any cons about New York. Like that's the thing, it's like there's never, unless you have like a really bad scary subway interaction, I don't really have any pros about it. Like the weather was kind of, we went to Bryant Park, which I didn't even know that was a thing. It's this big Christmas village, amazing. But yeah, we didn't have anything. We were the subway. I do remember that when I was a child, okay, I was in New York City with my family, and this was before I really knew what like drinking or anything like that was. And this guy was hammered, like walking all in the subway, just acting a fool. And I was just like so scared because I was like, I didn't understand like how drunk people act, obviously. So that like traumatized me from going on the subway. But now I'm like, okay, it's just a drunk person, like whatever. But yeah, the subway was totally fine. The only like cons about New York City is just like the amount of smoke. Like I kid you not, we're walking in Times Square, and there's this guy, and he's literally like, marijuana. I'm like, hello, what? Like it just passed, like being like, here. Or maybe he was selling it, I don't really know how it works. But that, and then just like the amount of people who like were smoking cigarettes, I was like, it's like when you're a kid, you know, and someone's smoking a cigarette and you like cough like in front of them and like make a scene so that they like see you. That's the only con about it. Other than that, totally fine. But the smells of New York City are just something else. But it's part of the experience. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be New York City without the sewer and cigarette and marijuana smells. But yeah, great trip. I miss it already. Ugh, just like amazing. But enough about me and my trip. We have so much drama and dirt and just gossip to get into because a lot of crap has happened, a lot of good stuff has happened, but like a lot of juicy things have happened. So let's get into our first story, which is a good story. It's exciting. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco announced that they are engaged. I genuinely am so happy for her. And when we originally found out that like she was dating him, I was very skeptical. I was like, what? Why? But the more I see of them, and I've seen a lot of clips of him talking about him and their relationship, and it just, you can tell like she is so loved by him. He is so in awe of her. He is amazed by her and her talent and really knows her and knows her heart. And that's all you can ask for, you know, in a partner. And so I am extremely, extremely happy for them. She is someone who I will always love celebrity wise. There's not a lot of celebrities that I follow, but she is someone that I have always loved. And I hope the best for her in every way, and I love her so much, and I love this, and I'm so happy for her. So Selena Gomez and her boyfriend Benny Blanco announced their engagement after more than 1 year of dating. Forever begins now, she captioned her Instagram post on Wednesday, December 11th, and showed off her engagement ring, and it was just so sweet to see. She looked so happy, so incredibly happy. And a lot of people were kind of speculating, you know, the whole engagement and the pictures and things, because it was like a picnic scene, right? And when I saw it, I just assumed it was a picnic scene. I didn't like read too much into it or look too much in the photo. But someone said it looked very similar to the Central Park picnic that they had back in May. And some people also noticed how it seemed not quite real. Like, it didn't look exactly like an outdoor picnic. And so Benny Blanco went online to tell fans the real story. And he did a behind the scenes video from when he proposed, and he revealed that the picnic was on a Hollywood soundstage, and it was made to look like the exact place they had this picnic, which I think is so cute and so special. They also had Taco Bell pizza, which just shows that celebrities are just like us. Okay, like they eat some Taco Bell too. I think that was really, really sweet. And he also, I remember he did some interview a long time ago about how Selena really likes Taco Bell, and specifically, I forget what it was, but he learned how to make it for her at home. Plus, okay, he cooks really well, doesn't he? Like, isn't he a chef? Maybe I made that up, but I know he cooks for her a lot, so that's also like a plus. I thought that was just so sweet, and I'm so happy for them. Her ring is gorgeous, and I could see them getting married pretty quickly. Just everything I've seen, like they're just totally obsessed with each other, and it's so sweet. So congrats to Selena and Benny. Very happy for you guys, and I wish you guys, seriously, I hope they like, this is a relationship that I think if they broke up, I would feel really upset, just because I think, I don't know if she would find someone else who would appreciate her in the way that he does, if that makes sense. I think they fit each other very, very, very well. And maybe he's not exactly what people pictured her being with, but like, you're not marrying him, are you? So get out of here. Okay, our next story is kind of a crazy story. So Joe Burrow and Olivia Pontons, is that how you say it? I know I said her last name wrong, but it's fine. Their relationship was exposed via a police report. This was genuinely crazy when I heard this. So basically, there was a police report where the TikTok star reported the break-in at Joe Burrow's home around 8:14 p.m., telling authorities that when she arrived at the house, she noticed a shattered bedroom window and the room ransacked. So she called her mom when she saw this, and then the mom called 911, and then deputies got to the scene. And so Joe Burrow was actually playing football in Dallas, so he was not at home. But she described herself as an employee for Joe, and then also shared a list of what was possibly missing, which we'll get to in a second. But basically, another call that she made said, someone broke into my house. It's like completely messed up. So then Joe Burrow was doing like a interview after like a game, and he said, so obviously everybody's heard what happened. I feel like my privacy has been violated in more ways than one, and way more is already out there than I would want out there and that I care to share. And then Olivia has not commented on the matter. So first of all, her saying she's an employee was kind of funny for me, because like, she's definitely not an employee unless she's his housekeeper, but like, she's a TikToker, she has millions of followers, like she doesn't need to be working for him. I think clearly they are in a relationship or hooking up or something, and she didn't want to tell the police like, yeah, like my boyfriend or the guy I'm hooking up with's house. And I, especially since he wasn't even at home, he was playing football, her pulling up to the house, that's not a employee. I mean, I guess unless you're like a housekeeper letting out a dog if he has a dog, but that's not like a kind of fling hooking up thing. I think that's very much girlfriend, if you're pulling up to his house at 8:15 p.m. when he's not even home. So I thought that was kind of funny. And another thing that people are saying is he was with his high school sweetheart for forever and ever. And her name was also Olivia. And they kept their relationship very, very quiet and not very public. And so when people first heard this, they thought that it was his high school sweetheart girlfriend, Olivia, calling. And then later on, people were putting it together that it was not. It was the other Olivia who's very famous. And so people originally thought, oh my gosh, like he's cheating on her. They were engaged and now he's with this TikToker. And they apparently, him and his high school sweetheart have broken up and we're not together. So that is not part of anything. But I think definitely Joe did not want it coming out that he is seeing this Olivia girl, because why would he think that, you know, it would get found out in a police report? You know what I mean? So anyway, I think it's just a little bit awkward and a very unfortunate situation that this is how the internet finds out. And yeah, just kind of crazy, but I loved getting the tea on that because that's just kind of crazy. I also feel like a lot of celebrities' houses are getting broken into. Weren't like Travis Kelce's house and then Patrick Mahomes, something with them was going on, right? And now Joe Burrow. So what's going on with that? Is there like some serial football burglar getting into these people's houses? But I can imagine though pulling up and then having to deal with a burglary. Why is that hard to say, Taylor? Anyways, very interesting story, and we'll see if they end up taking it public. I think he probably did not want to take this public ever, if not later down the road. So anyway, there you go. Okay, this next story I just found hilarious because if you have heard of the whole holding space interview that occurred with Ariana and Cynthia, it is just so hilarious. They basically were at this interview and the interviewer said that people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and Holding Space for them, which she intended to lead to a question. And then Cynthia starts freaking out, like getting so emotional, like, I didn't know people were doing that. Oh my goodness. And it's just such a, like, you have to watch the video. It's so funny. And everyone was so confused because they had no idea what they meant and what like holding space meant, and people were just genuinely so confused. And if you watch the video, you'll be confused too. Anyway, so then they're doing another interview, and basically they were asking them about, so basically they were literally doing an interview about an interview they had. So after that whole interview went viral, they were talking about it, and Ariana said, I didn't know what any part of it meant. I didn't understand the first sentence. And then I definitely didn't understand how Cynthia responded. And she said, I just wanted to be there because I knew something big was happening and I didn't know how to be there. Like, I don't understand what that meant. So basically she was saying like, she had no idea what was going on. And then it seemed like Cynthia's reaction, obviously if you've seen it, she was like kind of like getting very emotional. And I don't even think Cynthia really knew what was going on. She said that she thought the interviewer was talking about something totally different, leading up to something different, I guess. I still don't really understand what Cynthia was saying, but it's good to know that neither of them knew what was going on, because I genuinely was like, I don't understand this at all. So I thought that was really funny that they cleared that up, and Ariana genuinely didn't know what was happening. And honestly, it's kind of Cynthia's fault, because what was her reaction? It made no sense to anything. If she didn't know what was happening, then why was she reacting in that way kind of vibe? So anyways, next story, you guys. This is one of the most exciting things I've seen in a long time. You guys know I love her. I've been watching her on YouTube since I was probably 12 years old. TRISHA. She made her SNL debut in a cameo, and no one knew she was going to be on the episode of SNL. And so when she popped out, everyone was freaking out. And I am just seriously like so proud of her. So on Saturday, December 7th, the social media influencer made a surprise appearance on SNL, joining host Paul Mescal and a handful of cast members, including Bowen Yang, for a skit about Spotify Wrapped, which is actually really funny. And after that fact, the fans were pointing out that TRISHA previously expressed her desire to be on the show more than 3 years ago, when her former Frenemies podcast host Ethan claimed he would remove a limb if she ever made it on the show. And then she ended up going on. And I genuinely love this for her, and I want her to be the first like internet famous person, celeb, to host SNL, because if you don't know Trisha Paytas' lore, it's so crazy and so insane, because she literally, her life was just like awful. And if you look at her now, and if you look at everything she's done, everything she's been through, you can't not just like enjoy everything she's doing and like appreciate it. And just like, there's so much, like, I can't even, unless you've been watching her for as long as I have, like, you can't begin to understand everything. So I made a list of every single thing she has done, because when you see her just like list of things she has done in the past, it's genuinely crazy. So she has been on Modern Family. She's been on America's Got Talent, The Ellen Show, My Strange Addiction, Dr. Phil. She was in the Eminem music video. She was in WWE SmackDown, the show Botched, Celebrity Big Brother, and Price is Right. And she obviously is a very famous YouTuber, social media influencer. So she has just been everywhere, which is so crazy. She also now, I believe, is doing her own show off Broadway, which is just so amazing. And, you know, her life was just, I mean, if you followed her in the time of like, especially the Jason Nash, like, look at her now. She has an amazing husband. She has 2 beautiful kids, and everyone who has ever done her wrong or talked bad about her, their life has just sucked, and she has risen to the top. And I think that's so amazing. And I just know that like David Dobrik, Jason Nash, Colleen Ballinger, everyone who was just awful to her, you know, I hope that they are sitting at home, and that Jason Nash is sitting on his TikTok live and just regretting everything and hating their lives, honestly. So she is just, and even if you just want to watch a little bit about her, like, she is just the definition of like, it's all going to be okay, it's all going to work out, and just kind of give you that little sliver of hope. Even though she's done a lot of questionable things, you can't like deny that she is amazing and has come back from a lot and is very successful now, and has, I think, a very, very bright future, even more bright than it is now, ahead of her. And let's get her hosting SNL, because that would be so crazy. But anyway, that was just insane. Okay, this next one is again more like these TikToker influencer blonde girl drama that is just so funny to me, because I don't really think I even know like what they do, except that they were TikTokers. But Breckie Hill is responding to the ridiculous Sabrina Carpenter and Barry rumors. There were rumors that Barry and Sabrina broke up because Barry was cheating with Breckie Hill. And first of all, I genuinely like never know if Sabrina and Barry are together. I don't know if they've broken up. They could have been together for years. They could have been broken up for years, and I generally have no idea. Like, I don't know what's going on with them. But they, I'm assuming, are officially broken up now, because now all these rumors are coming out about why they're broken up. They still could be together, and I would have no idea. But anyway, so this article, it does say they ended their year-long relationship this December. It was only a year. I feel like I heard about them for so long. I don't know why. And so after this whole breakup came out, rumors of TikToker Breckie Hill caused a lot of commotion about, you know, why they broke up and all of that. And she did not make it easy on herself either. And so when news outlets were reporting that Barry was having an affair with Breckie, she reposted a lot of like the TikTok videos that were talking about it, which, like, on one hand, it's kind of funny, especially if you know it's like ridiculous and not true. And then it's like, okay, well, now you're just making it worse and like feuding those fires that people are already talking about, because everyone assumed, oh, she's reposting like it happened and she has no remorse, when in reality she just genuinely thought it was ridiculous and probably wanted a little bit more attention and clout from this, because obviously they are way bigger celebrity wise than her. But a lot of people are just questioning, you know, what's true, what isn't true. And then Olivia Dunn, who is that other TikToker? I don't know. But she apparently commented on it and said, when her true colors are finally revealed in the national media. I don't even know who, do they have, I don't know. I literally could not tell you what's going on with these people. But she ends up coming out with her little statement that says that To put it simply for you all, no, I did not get with Barry or ever encounter this man in my life. The only time I've seen him is on my TV screen. She said that the rumor was too ridiculous not to repost on her TikTok. She said, I reposted this video that showed up on my FYP claiming I was home wrecking Sabrina Carpenter's relationship just simply because I thought it was so ridiculous. Like, I get that, because especially to her, I mean, Sabrina and Barry are like way more well known, so to her it's probably like, why would you guys even assume this? Like, that makes no sense. But obviously people seeing that, everyone was like, oh, she definitely did it and she's just reposting it, doesn't care. Anyway, that was just kind of funny, and I guess they're broken up now. I generally like don't know, but I wonder who's gonna date next, because that will be interesting to see. Okay, next story. Not a great fun story, but Vanderpump Rules star James Kennedy was arrested for domestic violence. So much has come out about this, and it was so crazy when I saw this, because I have been watching the past, like the most recent seasons of Vanderpump Rules. I really started watching when the whole affair with Raquel and Tom and Ariana all broke out. I went back and rewatched like a couple seasons before, so I haven't seen the beginning of Vanderpump Rules except season 1, but I loved James and Allie together. I loved Allie. She seems like such a sweet, genuine person, and apparently there has just been a lot with James Kennedy in the past, like when he was with Kristen Doute, and Raquel Levinson. There were apparently a lot of crap, and he went through a lot of substance abuse problems and got sober because he just knew like the alcohol and everything, like it wasn't good for him. So I know there's a lot with him and a lot that he's done in the past, and that's why he got sober in the past. And it's still just sad, because everyone was saying like he was doing so well, and even the seasons I was watching him, he was doing really, really well and bettering himself. I think when he started dating Allie, she was basically like, you need to like get sober, this isn't gonna work kind of thing. And so I think she really made him better, but you know, this happened. So there's a lot that happened. But basically December 10th, the arrest log said that his arresting officer noted police were called to the location of the altercation, which was the Kennedys, because they lived together. So his LA home around 11:30 p.m. And he came in contact with both James and Allie, and then the woman inside the residence, who it's Allie. But she stated that her boyfriend lifted her up and threw her to the ground, and he was then arrested and charged with domestic battery upon a spouse or cohabitant, and he was booked in jail and then released on a $20,000 bail. The investigation determined it was a domestic incident leading to his arrest. He was booked, later posted bail. Formal charges are pending review. We understand that there were no injuries, but you're hoping that after careful review, the city's attorneys will decide not to file formal charges. Just crazy. But so earlier that night, they were at an annual holiday party, and they spent much of the night apart and didn't show much affection towards each other, a source previously told People. Another insider said that he was acting super aggressive all night long. He was acting erratic, running back and forth to the bar, body checking people. He appeared inebriated, spent the evening mostly limp. When he did speak to people, he appeared irritated and rude. And I mean, I think from his past, from what I've read and seen, it was a very toxic path, and that's what led him to get sober. And then when this came out, the people that he was in a relationship with previously were like, see, like I told you guys, like, yes, he was awful to me too, blah, blah, blah. And while it's no excuse, like, just because you're not sober does not mean you need to be throwing people around and being aggressive, okay? Like, that's not ever an excuse, and that shouldn't be a reason why people are like, oh, well, he was inebriated, so, like, that shouldn't matter. But anyway, so that happened. And then there were pictures of them he was helping Allie move her stuff out of the house, because she apparently is like going to take time for herself. And the pictures were posted on Backgrid, which apparently if it's on Backgrid, it means that the celebrities called the paparazzi on themselves. So that was kind of weird, but she is getting out of the house for now. She posted an Instagram story, and let me pull up what they exactly said, because I was like, just kind of like, what the heck? Where was it? No, I'm not going to be able to find it. But basically, he posted something tonight or yesterday. And it was just kind of like, you know, whatever. He said, I'm committed to making meaningful changes in my life. I thought that's what you were supposed to be doing a long time ago. I'm taking time to focus on my sobriety, personal growth, and being present for my loved ones. Navigating challenging moments is not easy, but I'm determined to learn, grow, and move forward with the incredible support system around me. Please. Please, please, please. It's so sad. Like, I'm just like, and how scary for her and like what she's been through. I want to see, because I remember reading what she said, and now I'm not gonna be able to find it. Okay. Let's see if this is it. Okay, she said, thank you to everyone who has reached out with love and support and for checking on me. I'm okay and taking the time I need right now. I deeply appreciate all the kindness and respect for my privacy during this time. I hope that she gets out of it and does leave, because I think what it was, you know, talking about is she's just kind of like taking a separation from him. And I think she needs to fully get out of this, because he clearly has a pattern and no person should ever have to go through something like that. Yeah, I'm just really, my thoughts are with her, because I can't imagine what she's going through, and especially being in the public eye. But yeah, she needs to leave. And I saw that she took the litter box for her cat, so hopefully that means she's like gone for good. It's just so sad though, because oh my gosh, I literally love them together. And when Vanderpump announced that they were doing a whole new cast, I was sad, because I was like, wait, but I want to see like James and Allie together. Well, now I don't, and I want him to be gone forever. Just so sad. Anyway, okay. Our last story, I saved the best for last because I have so much to say about it, and I'm just so annoyed with the whole situation, and it's just crazy to me. And that is the whole BRIANNA CHICKENFRY Grace O'Malley drama. Just in general, first of all, Dave Portnoy needs to get some form of HR, or he needs to admit he has feelings for BRIANNA, or he needs to, I don't know what the heck is up with him, but for him being so into his employees' lives and personal lives is so weird. And I can't. I genuinely, like, it's so weird, the whole situation to me. But we're going to talk about all of it. I have a lot of notes, and I'm going to kind of summarize it for you if you don't really know what's going on, and then you can kind of form your own opinions, and, you know, that you do you form your own opinions. I don't want to tell you what to believe or not. But for a while, people were assuming that things were a little off between BRIANNA and Grace. Now, if you don't know them, they have been childhood best friends years and years and years. BRIANNA obviously works for Barstool, has her podcast, and Grace was on the podcast with BRIANNA as well, and they both worked for Barstool together, okay? Grace is now like a comedian, touring, all that fun stuff. But anyway, a lot of people were just kind of wondering what was going on, because the podcast that they do together was not being updated, or they weren't uploading or anything like that. And this is when all the whole Zach Bryan drama was coming out, with him and BRIANNA breaking up and the whole abusive relationship. So then that was when, you know, people thought that Grace signed an NDA, and she posted on her Instagram story like, no, I didn't sign an NDA, like, he's the worst, and like, just leave BRIANNA alone, give her some space, blah blah blah. Then we all know Spotify Wrapped came out. They do a podcast, Spotify Wrapped, as well, and so someone had Plan Brie, which is the podcast they did together. Now, BRIANNA did start this podcast, and then Grace went on with her, but I think, you know, the success, a lot of it was the pair together. I don't think it would have been as popular if it was just BRIANNA, but whatever. And so BRIANNA reposted a fan's post of it being like her number one watched or listened to podcast, and BRIANNA basically reposted it saying like, you know, I am, you know, hoping I can bring back the podcast in some way. Okay. So after she posted that on her Instagram story, Grace posted a little, like, you know, word Instagram story, whatever, with a ton of words on it, basically saying, you know, she assumed that her and Brianna, they were going to post a joint, you know, thing together, talking about how, you know, the podcast was going to be a little bit different than how it was. And then when she saw Brianna saying she's working on bringing it back another way, this was the first she's heard of it, which ding, ding, ding. If you remember, this is kind of what Zach did to Brianna, because they were going to post a joint thing about their breakup, and then he just went and posted something about it without telling Bri and Brianna. I don't know which one to say, but he did that to her, and she literally did that to Grace. Okay, say what you will about it. She did post on the subject matter of their podcast without telling Grace. Okay, when they were supposed to do it jointly together. That's just a fact. So after that, Bri goes on the BFFs podcast. And, you know, that's a Barstool podcast. It's where Grace works. And it's with Dave and Josh. And it's literally just them trashing Grace. Like, genuinely. Like, I had to turn it off. I listened for probably maybe 5 minutes. And I just could not do it because you know, at that point, Grace was still an employee of Barstool. Okay. And you're going to go on this podcast and just, like, trash her to everyone. And she was just being so me, I'm the victim, this happened to me, this blah, 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 saying, you know, I did all of this for Grace. Like, Grace wouldn't be here and have this success if it wasn't for me. I brought her to Barstool. I brought her on the blah, blah, blah. Okay, you chose to do that, okay? If people didn't like Grace, they, probably wouldn't have hired her to Barstool if they didn't really want her there. B, she wouldn't have the fame and success she does if people didn't like her. C, if you are true childhood best friends, you don't like hold things over each other and say, well, I did this for you, so, you know, you wouldn't have this if it wasn't for me. Who says that? That is so manipulative. And to me, you know, she was in this abusive relationship with Zach Bryan, who was a very manipulative, narcissistic person. And I think that her brain is kind of still wired in that way. And she is acting, you know, very victim and very manipulative. And it's affecting Grace in the way that she is, you know, reacting to this whole thing of, you know, just the whole situation. And I just don't understand, because Bri posted the Instagram story, right? And then just because Grace posts something, also now she's in the wrong, and now Bri's gonna go on this podcast and bash her. Like, I don't understand it. And I don't think that you hold things over each other if you were best friends for that long. And even Bri said at the beginning, like, I will love her forever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, then why are you on here trashing her? Seriously. And, you know, Bri also said things about how, well, Grace never had a boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. And Grace wasn't there for me when I needed her. Okay, well, you also said that Zach was awful to her and he isolated you from her and, like, all of your friends. So why do you want Grace? Like, just because she's not reacting in a way that you want her to does not give you the right to treat her this way. Like, I just don't understand. The whole situation is so annoying. And I also, when the whole thing came out, when they were still doing the podcast together, I don't know if you've seen this clip, but they did a clip where Brianna and Grace were talking about something that happened when they were both 16. And it was just a very odd clip. Like, Bri just kind of like blaming in a way Grace for what happened, and Grace saying, well, it's not my fault, like, blah, blah, blah. That whole situation just like rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, if you're a true friend, like, you wouldn't say that to Grace. Like, you wouldn't act that way. So that was all weird with me. And I think eventually Bri's gonna regret how she is handling this whole situation. I think they should have stayed silent. I think they should have done a joint thing and it would have all been fine. They clearly have not been communicating or talking, and that's why Bri went on and said that before they did a joint thing, and Grace clearly didn't know. And so anyway, then after that, all these people were coming out with these screenshots that Bri has been DMing fans, you know, talking about, well, I'm just a good person, so I would never say this, like, on the internet, but, you know, just look at, you know, who everyone's unfollowing and just use critical thinking, just like talking really bad about Grace in these DMs with fans. And it's like, okay, well, this is still online and it's getting out that you're trash talking her to people in your DMs, which I think is just awful. And I personally want to hear from Grace. She ended up quitting Barstool, which good for her. She's going to go off and do way better things. Look at freaking Alex Cooper, like the success she has. I want to see Grace on Call Her Daddy. I want to see Grace have her own podcast on Alex Cooper's whatever it's called with all your podcasts. Like, I hope Barstool gets a slap in the face because and especially the whole way that Dave's reacting. And I've been doing a lot of research now because I think it's so interesting, because I really liked Barstool low-key. Like, I was listening to BFFs, and then this whole thing, unfollowed everything. I was like, no, I can't do it. And, you know, Dave basically got online, did this whole long video, like, cussing people out and yelling about it. And apparently whenever someone talks bad about Brie, he gets really mad. I think he fired someone over it one time. So there's something weird going on with them. And I think the way that he is so involved in this and their personal lives is so weird. Like, you're going to get on a podcast and then trash talk someone who was your employee at the time. Like, you're 40. Why are you in this drama? It's so odd to me. And I think it was so irresponsible. I think it was very unprofessional. I think it was awful. And I genuinely hope this is the downfall of Barstool, literally, because the whole way this is happening, like, if you had an HR team, if you had a PR, like, it would not go this way. And I just feel so bad for Grace, like, genuinely so bad. And again, we haven't heard her side, but imagine, like, your childhood best friend is now, like, holding this over you, that she did all these things for you and is making everyone feel like, I did all this for her and now she's doing this, like, she doesn't deserve this now. And, you know, saying that she's never had a boyfriend, and then just, like, talking, like, saying, like, she wasn't there for me when I needed her, when you were literally admitted that you were in an abusive relationship and that you and Zach were not good to her because of how manipulative he was. Like, the fact that she stood by you should say something. She did post about the whole Zach Bryan NDA thing. Like, I don't even think Grace knew how to handle it if you were acting so different for a whole year. And I think how she's reacting right now, it's like she's not taking a step back to think about it. And I think she's just doing it very rationally and very quickly because she's still in her emotions and still kind of, like, processing this horrible relationship she had with Zach Bryan. And I think, you know, Brie, blindsided by Zach about the breakup, she did it to Grace. And I think she's doing a lot of the bad characteristics that Zach did to her. Not in the same, I'm not comparing them, but I think Brie needs to take a step back and kind of look at what she's doing and how she's acting. And I'm team Grace. So that's all I have to say about that. But bottom line, and taking both of them out of it, at the end of the day, they were childhood best friends and they moved together. They worked together. It's sad. At the end of the day, it's sad that they are having this publicly. I think they both are going to regret it. I hope that Grace comes out and kind of clears the other side of the story, because there are always two sides of the story, and there's the truth of what really happened. But it is sad, and it just, yeah, it is always so sad, and especially these two, like, that's awful for them. And I just hope that they can kind of, maybe one day, I don't know if they would ever be able to reconcile, but especially because it's so public. Like, I don't know what Grace is going to do. I don't know what Brie's going to do. I mean, Dave's, like, not even on the BFFs podcast anymore, he said, thank God. But, like, his whole, like, just this whole thing with him, like, it's freaking weird. Okay. How he always acts with Brie and always defends her. It's very creepy. I don't get it. I'm sure more will come out. I'm still doing my research about a lot of it, but we will see what comes out of this. If there's any more that comes out, we'll talk about it on Saturday, any updates. But those are all the stories for today. These were some juicy ones, you guys. Like, oh my goodness, I need to go to New York City more often because I bring all the juicy gossip with me when I come back, apparently. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, we will have another one this week on Saturday. And then, do we only have one more until 2025? That's genuinely crazy. So we'll have our next week after Christmas episode, and then I guess it'll be I need to look at a calendar because I genuinely, like, am not good with, I want to know how you guys, like, picture your, like, weeks and months, because I think that's so interesting when people, like, explain it. Okay, so this Saturday is going to be the 21st, and then the 28th, yes. And then the week after that, it's going to be January 4th, 2025. Genuinely insane. Like, guys, 2025, I'm going to be a quarter of a century. I can't even talk about it anymore. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and we will be back here on Saturday, so you won't have to go without me and miss me for too long. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you guys so much. Make sure to follow the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, give me a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening and watching. And I will see you next time for some more hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice. I'll have you saying literally what? Bye, guys.